The young angel flitted among the clouds with glee before zooming down. She was finally old enough to get her assignment. The tips of feathered wings skimmed the long grass of the garden as she zipped toward Azrael's hall to get the true name of her assignment. As soon as the shining piece of paper was placed in her hand, she was off again, heading toward the portals that would take her to the human world. Tumbling through the doorways, she couldn't wipe the grin off her face. Okay, so it was a bit of a strange name, but that just made her assignment extra special, right? The angel arrived in a hospital, invisible and intangible, where she floated through the wards until she felt the paper clenched tightly in her fists start to tingle. This was it. He was a very normal-looking baby, pudgy and unformed like a lump of bread dough, but the angel knew he was perfect. At least until he started falling. The angel quickly tapped him on the nose, sending a sparkle of sleep to quiet the child. "You're just a little monster, aren't you?" she asked herself quietly, not used to not being heard by those around her. A wry smile curled her lips. "But you're my little monster now, and I'm going to take care of you. Promise." And so she did. When he was a young boy, the tree branches he climbed on never broke, however unable to take his weight they might have been. Injuries were never bad and healed quickly. The sticks and rocks thrown by other boys always fell short. It was only a pity the angel couldn't block their words as well. The boy grew into a man, charming and dapper and broken inside, but he would never admit that to anyone. The angel grew closer to him, watching over the child she had promised protection to all those years ago. She talked to him while he slept, read the books he left scattered around his home, played games with the few childhood toys he refused to part with. In short, she grew to see him less as an assignment and more as a friend. So when he didn't look where he was going when crossing the road, and an invisible force pushed him out of the way of the oncoming car, she knew she would get in trouble. He still had so much life to live, right? And the whole point of a guardian angel is to guard them from harm, right? Okay, maybe the piece of paper announcing the date had been torn into shreds and scattered into the breeze, but she was only doing her job. The next paper was delivered by hand, the older angel giving her a calculating look before heading back to their world. The angel lost track of the date, and her charge escaped the bar fight with little more than a broken nose. "Don't worry, my monster. It suits you," she whispered into his ear that night. "And it'll heal fast. I'm sure you'll be fine." The next time she didn't get a piece of paper. A tall, grim angel with cold wings appeared, saying something about making sure she didn't mess up this time. But an unexpected gust of wind and an escaping hat led the man down a different path, away from the muggers waiting around the other corner. The coal angel took hold of the girl's arm, and with one hard flap of his wings, they skyrocketed toward the portal, the guardian angel fighting all the way. She was brought to the hall, head bowed but eyes burning bright with fury beneath chestnut locks.
"Stripped of the wings, revoke grace. Watch assignment's fate."
No! But despite the uproar she so desperately wished to create, she was still naught but a young angel, and there were so many others more powerful than she. Her stubbornness did her well, but it was a lost battle from the beginning. Pale yellow wings tattered and spirit all but broken, the angel was held in midair above the river to watch the scene play out beneath her. Golden tears dripped from her chin, but not a noise was made. See, without his angel to whisper silly little nothings and promises of protection and gentle reassurances into his ear as he slept, the man began to fall apart. He had other people, yes, and they were wonderful distractions, but he was still broken underneath his masking smile. And then the people left, and then he was truly alone. He smiled as he climbed onto the edge of the bridge, made a show of getting ready to dive. Cameras were rolling after all. He had to stay in character to the very end. Then he jumped, and the only person who knew his lie was trapped. But with a sudden yank of her arms, she wasn't. The angel fell towards the water, wings useless and aching. She hit the water barely a second after her friend with nary a splash, but he had already sunken deep. The girl cried out for him, reached for him, willed the last sparks of her magic to give him breath, hope, bravery, life. The grim angels caught up, scooping her struggling form out of the river and stripping the last of her feathers. They dissolved into gold dust as they hit the water, sinking down to coat the body of the ex-angel's charge. They carried with them the last spark of her power, her last wish. In another world, a man, a monster, awoke with the feeling that something, someone, was missing.